And now we are super excited to be joined by Mr. Michael Swain from Freedom of Religion, South Africa. Michael, good morning, and thank you very much for your time, sir.
Good morning, Jonathan, and good morning, Breakfast with Friends. So great to be on the show.
It is so good to be with you too. So, Michael, FOR SA, Freedom of Religion, South Africa, you are the executive director, and you guys do amazing work. But just for the person who doesn't know what FOR SA is all about, please tell us a little bit more.
Well, FOR SA, we are a legal advocacy group, and what we do is we exist to protect and promote the religious freedom rights of all South Africans, which is, of course, guaranteed in the Constitution. And that means that we look at everything that comes out of Parliament, we look at all the regulations, all the policies, and we examine them to see, are these a threat to religious freedom? And of course, sadly, unfortunately, they sometimes are. We also look at court cases. So if you see a court case where, for example, they tried once to kick religion out of schools, that's where we're going to be engaged. So we are always going to be watchmen on the walls and on the front lines of faith and freedom.
That is so good. And that's what we need, because the reality is we live in a world where there often are laws being changed, things that are being put into place, and it will directly affect us and will affect future generations. So to that effect, we as CCFM have often interviewed you, Michael. We've had you on the platform. We've had discussions about the Bella Bill. We've had discussions about this and that and the next thing. And it's so important for there to be a space where an organization like FOR SA can have a platform, right?
Absolutely critical. In fact, the very first radio interview I gave was on CCFM. And our partnership over the years has been absolutely fantastic. The way that you give the opportunity to really air things that people probably otherwise wouldn't know about at all. And then to give people the opportunity to actually do something about it, to have your say, to make your voice heard. And the result has been highly effective. I mean, there have been many, many pieces of legislation, many policies that we have literally managed to push back, or at least to hold the line, simply because stations like CCFM and CCFm in particular, you were the longest standing supporter of us. You have been amazing, and your listeners have been amazing. So thank you for that, and long may it last.
Amen. And I mean, just last year, we got to celebrate 30 years of broadcasting as a radio station in this beautiful city. But just encourage those who are listening to us, who are watching this video, as to why and how they can really come on board and support the work that CCFM is doing.
Well, I think the first thing is, keep listening to CCFM. CCFM is one of those stations that I believe really does exist to serve the community. And it is an edifying show. I always find the topics of conversation I hear are great. And as I say, they're really understood the fundamental issues, and we'll bring them to you. And it is good to be informed, by the way. The sons of Issachar were those who understood the times. And I do believe that part of the role that CCF is playing is to help listeners to understand the times in which they live. And then, of course, not only that, but to know what to do about them. So keep on listening, keep supporting. CCM is a great station, and it has, I think, a very key role to play.
Sure. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate that.
And also a lot of times, I mean, like you're saying, Michael, most times the only time we actually know what's really happening is when we listen, when we have you here, we get to speak to you, and then you share with us, like, listen, guys, this is actually really what's happening, and this is what's going to happen if we don't have our say. So we thank you for that. And sometimes that's the only voice that we actually can we hear without that, because the way you break it down and the way you explain to us, so we really appreciate that as well.
Well, you helped recently with the spy bill, so-called, which was a terrible piece of legislation in its first form. But I'm happy to say and report back to you and your listeners that the now version, the one that has just passed the National Assembly, they've taken on board many of the definitions that South Africa wanted to see changed. And it is a much better piece of legislation than it was. So again, what a difference. If it wasn't for radio stations getting the word out, CCFM getting the word out, people engaging with it, we could have had a very different outcome here. So again, well done, everybody, and keep supporting the CCFM and keep supporting FOR SA.
Sure. Thank you so much, Michael. And it's about everybody doing a little bit. Michael and his team, his very small team, if you don't mind me saying, because that's the truth, they do amazing work. And Rachel and I, as a very small team of two, we have to connect with Michael and others to highlight some of those things, those laws, those situations in our country, and bring attention to it so that people are aware of it. And then it's about you, our amazing listener, person who is connecting with us. It's about you saying, okay, I'm also going to do something. I'm going to give 150 Rand a month to CCFM, or I'm going to give 1,000 Rand once off, or maybe you can give 700 Rand per month. I don't know what the amount is, but you know, and you can speak to God and ask God, how should I come alongside what CCFM and FOR SA are doing? How can I be a part of this? Because at the end of the day, CCFM is 80% listener funded. And so in us being able to do this, we need you as a listener to be a part of this. And so that's the whole purpose of what we're doing this week, is to raise funds and to help us to keep going with regard to that. Michael, it's great. It's always great to chat to you. And we definitely will be chatting to you again in the not too distant future, because there's some more things that we need to highlight. But today, it's about just saying thank you. Thank you for the partnership that we have with you as FOR SA. Thank you to every listener of CCFM who has done something when we've said, guys, you need to do something. There's a petition to be signed. And it's also saying thank you to God for giving us the wisdom and the platform and the ability to do something. So thank you so much, Michael Swain.
Thank you, Jonathan. Always great to be on the show. And as I say, looking forward to the next time.
Definitely. Have a great day, Michael, and God bless you richly.
Thank you.
I have loved